Hey, it's Joe Solari here, and welcome to the Facebook Live on the new site that I've got coming your way, Indie Author Alchemy. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time waiting for people to get on. I know that most of you folks will probably watch this later. For those of you who don't know who I am, again, the name is Joe Solari. I wrote a book called The Business Owner's Compendium. It's about a whole bunch of ideas and systems and processes that I've pulled together to help business owners get control of their business. And when they find that they're kind of losing the joy of being a business owner because the business seems to be owning them, not them own the business, it helps them to get the business back under control. I put that book out, and a lot of folks in the independent author community have picked it up as something to help them kind of guide them in their business. You may also have seen me at the 20 Books to 50K Las Vegas conference where I did the business breakout session, or on the YouTube channel with Craig Martell where we talk about the business of writing. On top of that, I work with some high net worth authors, ones that are in the top 100 on Amazon, to help them set up their business and help them with business strategy. In that case, we're building a whole system to run their operation and their media empire. I have a person I work with who's a CPA that does the books and helps with reconciling all the accounts and pulling the reports together and helping them to have the business that supports their growing business enterprise and to make sure that they're able to support all of their big goals. And one of the interesting things is that you're going to see is I've developed this website and some coursework for those of you that are striving to become that, to be the person that's making $50,000 a month, but aren't there yet and really want to treat their business like a business, but need help in doing that. And this really came out of me talking to a lot of authors. After the conference, I spent a lot of time on phone calls and Zoom calls, and even at the conference, talking to people about their business and trying to help them to figure out how they can move forward from where they're at today. And some pretty interesting stuff came up. I also did a survey that validated a lot of the anecdotal stuff I heard. So one of the things is that 80%, it's actually 77% of authors operate as a sole proprietor. So that means that they don't have a formal business structure. They just operate as themselves as a business, and they report their income on their personal tax return. And that makes sense when you look at other data, which is most authors, 60% of authors, never make more than $10,000 a year. And if you've heard me speak before, you know that I'm a big proponent of making sure that you don't spend money that you shouldn't, and you spend the money that you do have where it's going to make the most impact. So, getting your books edited and getting great book covers is more important than you incorporating, especially if you're in a state where it could end up costing you $1,000 in fees every year to be incorporated. So, below that $10,000 mark, it's really doesn't make sense. But what about that other 30%? What do they do as they scale up? And so that's where I came up with this course idea. And I've talked to a lot of guys in the industry, men and women, and they're like, wow, there's nothing, I've never seen anything like this. This is pretty amazing stuff. And it fills a hole that's in this marketplace. So why don't I go right now and let's look at the website so you can get a feel for what I'm trying to pull together here for you. So this is what I call the dashboard. So once you log in, you'll see a range of courses, and I'm working with various content creators in the industry to put in more than just the business basics. Some of the things you see here are stuff we're working on, so we don't want to look at that too much, but they'll be intermediate and advanced courses. But the main course I want to talk about today is what we're calling the BizOps Bootcamp. So it's the Business Operations Bootcamp, and it's solely designed for authors to help them build their independent publishing business the right way the first time. Now, I'm a big believer in the best way to teach a person to fish is to go out there and help them catch that first fish. So a key point of this program is when you go through it, you're going to, at the end, if you so choose to, have set up your LLC. I'll show you how to do it yourself. But that doesn't preclude you if you're not ready from taking this course. And the reason I say that is most of the course isn't about the mechanics of setting up a company. It's about understanding why you do certain things and getting those skills so that we can get the business set up right away so that it maximizes your writing time. That's the most important thing for you guys, is to make sure that your effort, your personal effort, those hours that you have are put in the places where they're meant to be put. That's writing. You're going to always have, as your business scales up, you're going to have to dedicate some time to the actual operational part of your business. But minimizing that and systematizing it as best we can is really going to be helpful for you. So in this module, you can see we have multiple modules, and they're all hooked up. So as you complete things, it'll clock through for you what you've completed. But when we look at something like the first module, it'll give you a feel for how we've got the course set up. So you can see there's a range of modules here that come up. So you've got your welcome module, we talk about business identity, the incorporation process, getting organized, foundational documents, the things that you need to have so that you can contract with others. There's going to be some more modules that pop up here. But as you see, we're using a variety of tools to help you get educated. We've got video, we've got stuff for you to read. This module here is just the intro, kind of getting you level set to get the course started. But we have surveys, there's quizzes, and then we have functions down here where you're able to directly connect with the moderators and ask questions and get answers back. And this is all private. So if it's something confidential about your business or your strategy you want to ask about, only you're going to see that. And then we have a section for private notes where you can save files and documents and any notes so that you can come back and look at that. Because once you pay for this, you've got it. The idea being is maybe you're early stages, you're not quite prepared to incorporate, maybe you're on the cusp, you take the course, you're going to learn some skills and get some things set up. Then you might come back and later on, when you do have the revenue, go do the stuff to incorporate. But no matter what, by the end of this course, you'll know why I've suggested certain business structures and why I think you should do them at certain times, and how this all builds as a foundation for the bigger picture for what your author career needs to be about. You know, we can go and look at, let's go into, we'll go into the incorporation module. There is specific instruction broken down by state because, you know, every state is different depending on where you're going to be incorporating. So we've gone and done that research. Up front, you're going to see what the costs are, if you can do it online or not, what kinds of information you need to have when you go to that site. To incorporate, or if you have to, you know, there's still a lot of states where you have to mail your form in or show up and hand it to somebody if you're not mailing it in. So all that stuff is laid out in here to help you to expedite that process if you're going through it. So that's kind of a wind up on the course. Let's now talk a little bit about why, right? Why? And let me just add one thing before we move on. If you're interested in taking this course, I'm starting a beta. I'll leave a link for you to be able to sign up for that beta. There is a fee associated with the beta course. It's $149. The regular course is going to be $349. But what I am going to do is I am going to pick 2 people that share this video and comment on it. I'll pick 2 people and give them a free scholarship to this course. And I'll award that on Valentine's Day. So a week from today, I will let people know who won that based on who's made comments and shared this video around the Facebook. So now let's talk a little bit about why. First off, there's something that I've observed in talking through a lot of this with authors at different points of their career. And the first thing you have to understand is that if half the stuff that happens in 2018 that I've been told about, the goals and aspirations of the indie author community, if that happens, it's going to be a watershed year for independent publishing. People are picking up their game. This is not just about being a hobby anymore. People are really getting excited about the opportunity in this golden age of content creation. They want to make great books. They want to connect with an audience, and they want to figure out lots of ways to tell their stories, not just books. And as part of that, if that's the kind of person you are and that's what you're striving to do, then you have to treat your business like a business. Okay? And that can be hard sometimes when we're at a home office and we're not in touch with a lot of people, to be cognizant that you're running a business here. But what you need to do is you need to understand how different business practices make the operation of your business work better. This isn't to bog you down or distract you from writing. It's to make sure that you mitigate your risk, that you create the kind of wealth that you possibly can, that you minimize risk and tax liabilities, and that you have the ability to execute on this strategy that you come up with. It's great to have dreams, but you have to write that down and make a plan, and then you have to put action behind that plan for those dreams to come true. So this is part of it. That's really what about having a good business structure is about. It's not about playing CEO. But having that plan in place is going to help you to be better at what you're trying to do. So that's the first reason why you really need to think about setting up a business. The next thing, and this is kind of where I scare you, is mitigating risk. The main reason why you set up a corporation is it protects your personal assets from any kind of liability that you may get from being out there as a writer. And these are very remote situations, but you do have to be realistic that crazy stuff happens, and there are a lot of unprofessional people that are in the independent community, and how they may come at you and take swipes. You want to make sure that your personal assets, especially when you start growing your business and you make the kind of money that I've seen people make in this, you want to be able to protect that from anything that can come down the pipe. So setting up the business structure, the first thing, the most important thing it's doing is it's helping you minimize your risk, and it's putting up a barrier between your personal assets and the business assets. The other thing that setting up a business does, it's really the first foundational step in how you start to build a strong IP portfolio and strategy. So if you're going through the process of registering your copyright and you're licensing the copyright of those books into your company, then if something does happen to you and you have the right structure set up with the right people, let's say you're married, you have a partner that's also a partner in the business, they can easily pick up and start running that business because they have the authority to do it. And those done right, those assets aren't just going to fly off into limbo. So there's some practical stuff we're going to talk about in this course that's really going to help you to protect yourself short-term and long-term. The third piece is what I talk about as far as like the big picture and practicality. You're not doing this just to be somebody playing boss, right? The reason you're doing this is to have a structure that captures your expenses and expenses appropriately to get the right profit for your business and to be able to then create wealth. Having a business structure really gives tools to do things around how your taxes are dealt with, especially now with the new tax laws. There's things like qualified business income deductions that are going to be things that can be played with. Of course, not everybody knows how to interpret all this stuff, but within this group, we're going to have experts that are going to help us to really work through the options that we have depending on that business structure. And if you're not setting up an LLC because it's just not the time, and believe me, if it's not the time, it's not the time, you will know enough to say, okay, well, this is how I should be running my sole proprietorship. It's just as much about those of you that are going to be sole proprietors and understanding how to do that right as it is, setting up the bigger business. But there's some real benefits to having an LLC that's set up and elected as to be treated as an S corp. And I was talking to Brian Meeks today, and we were just reminiscing about things that we've dealt with as business owners and things we've run into. And he is telling a story about going and getting his license renewed and how much trouble it's been because of the documents he needs. And that's something that as a self-employed person is a stigma that you have. As self-employed, when you go to buy a car or you go to get a home loan, it's very, very difficult. You could be making a couple $100,000 a year, and you go in to buy a reasonable car, and if you say you're self-employed, the guy selling the car, his eyes are going to roll in the back of his head because he's like, it's just harder. You're going to pay a higher interest rate. But if you had an LLC set up and it was subchapter S and we showed you how to give yourself a W-2 and pay yourself a salary, you could hand that guy a W-2 for your company, and Indy Pubco, he doesn't know that that's your company. He just sees that and it's a W-2 and he runs it through the machine and boom, your loan comes back. That's it. It's that simple. Versus trying to get a mortgage as being self-employed with the environment around credit now, it's super, super hard to do. But if you're able to verify your income on a W-2, it becomes very simple, very simple. So those are the kind of practical things that you're going to learn how to do and get set up. Because what I want to help you do is not just get your business going and help you to get it firing on all cylinders. I want you to be able to create some real wealth and figure out what you want to do with this beyond just writing books and make sure that those dreams come true, but also start putting money that you're making today aside for the future. There's some things we can do once you're incorporated with your 401k and your retirement where we can do significant tax deferment and get that money into your pockets. Now, granted, it's being deferred as part of your retirement, but you're diversifying. You're getting it out of your writing business and you're getting it into the market and to other places where it can grow. And it's doing it on a tax-deferred basis. That's a super powerful thing for wealth creation that you'll get some handle on within this course. So any of you folks that have any questions, just put them in the comment box and I'll answer them. Otherwise, I am going to wrap it up, and we will hopefully see you signing up for the course. Final stuff on the course is it closes on the 16th. That's the beta that will be closing. You can find the website here at indieauthoredalchemy.com. If you want to join the beta, there's a point to click right there that'll bring you to the sign up. As I said, we've got 6 more days that we're taking people into the beta course. We've got a bunch of people sign up, some pretty big names in the industry, so it's going to be a fun group. We're doing it at a special right now of $149. The usual price is going to be $349. It's still a great deal at that, but why not come in and help me find out what needs to be working better at a lower price and be part of this initial start. You're going to get all the updated stuff anyhow. As we update the course, it's going to be yours to use anyhow. So it's a great time to jump in and get started. Love to see you in here. Again, if you're maybe on a tight budget and you can't afford it, I understand. Why don't you share and the page and make a comment on this video, and maybe you'll be the one that wins that free course. So again, thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you over at Indie Author Alchemy.